Captain Lisa Stone pressed her face against the cold metal wall of her prison cell. The ship around her hummed with alien technology that she could not understand. 3 days had passed since the Zephyrian forces captured her vessel and took her, crew prisoner. She had expected to be dead by now, but instead she found herself alive and confused. The war between humans and Zephyrians had been going on for 3 terrible years. Lisa had joined the Earth Defense Force when she was just 20 years old now. At 28, she had seen more death and destruction than anyone should have to witness. Her home planet of New Texas had been one of the first colonies attacked by the alien empire. She remembered the day clearly. The silver ships had appeared in the sky like falling stars. At first the colonists thought they were meteors, but then the ships landed and strange beings with 4 eyes and 6 arms emerged. They spoke in musical voices, but their weapons were deadly. The attack lasted only hours before the colony surrendered. Lisa had been visiting her parents that day. She watched helplessly as her father tried to protect their home. He was a simple farmer who had never held a weapon in his life. The Zephyrian soldiers were fast and strong. Her father did not stand a chance. Her mother screamed as the aliens took him away. Lisa never saw either of her parents again. That was when she decided to fight. She left New Texas and joined the military. She learned to pilot starships and lead soldiers into battle. Every mission was dangerous, but Lisa did not care. She wanted revenge for her family and her home. The sound of footsteps in the corridor made Lisa step back from the wall. Heavy boots clicked against the metal floor, getting closer to her cell. She had learned to recognize the different sounds the Zephyrians made when they walked. Their 6 legs moved in a pattern that created a unique rhythm. The door to her cell opened with a soft hiss. Lisa expected to see the same guards who brought her food twice a day. Instead, she saw something that made her heart stop. A tall Zephyrian female stood in the doorway, but this one was different. Her skin was pure silver and seemed to glow with inner light. She wore robes that looked like they were made from starlight itself. Behind her stood 6 other Zephyrians dressed in what looked like military uniforms, but these uniforms were decorated with symbols and colors that Lisa had never seen before. These were not regular soldiers. These were someone important. The glowing female stepped into the cell and spoke in perfect English. Her voice was like music, but there was sadness in it. "Captain Stone, I am Queen Violara, ruler of the Zephyrian Empire. I have come to speak with you." Lisa tried to hide her shock. She had been face to face with many Zephyrian soldiers during the war, but never with their leader. She stood as straight as she could and looked directly into the Queen's 4 glowing eyes. "Your Majesty, why am I still alive?" Queen Violara smiled, but it was not a happy expression. "That is a very good question, Captain Stone. You should be dead by now according to our laws. All human prisoners are supposed to be executed within 24 hours of capture. But I gave specific orders to keep you alive." Lisa felt her knees go weak. "Why?" The Queen moved closer. Her 6 arms moved gracefully as she spoke. "I have been watching you, Captain Stone. Not just you personally, but your entire species. For 3 years I have studied human behavior. I have read your history and your literature. I have watched recordings of your battles." She paused and looked directly at Lisa. "Your people fascinate me. Humans are physically weak compared to my race. You have only 2 arms and 2 legs. Your ships are slower than ours. Your weapons are less powerful. Yet somehow you continue to fight against impossible odds." Lisa found her voice. "We fight because we have to. We fight to protect our families and our homes." Queen Violara nodded. "Yes, exactly. That is what makes you so interesting. Most species surrender when they realize they cannot win. Humans do not. Your people would rather die than give up hope." The Queen began to pace around the small cell. Her robes flowed behind her like liquid silver. "Do you know why I started this war, Captain Stone?" Lisa shook her head. "I started it because my people are dying," the Queen said quietly. "Not from disease or old age, but from something far worse. We are dying from the inside. We have become too perfect, too advanced, we have lost the will to live. Lisa stared at her in confusion. I don't understand. Queen Vylara stopped pacing and looked at Lisa with all four eyes. My people have evolved beyond the need to struggle. We have technology that can give us anything we want. We live for thousands of years in perfect health. We have no wars among ourselves, no hunger, no pain. She paused, and her voice became even quieter. But we have also lost something vital. We have lost hope and joy and the will to fight for something better. Many of my people simply choose to fade away into nothingness. They lose interest in living and slowly disappear. Lisa felt a chill run down her spine. That sounds terrible. It is, the Queen agreed. And it is getting worse every year. Fewer children are being born. Those who are born often choose to fade before they reach adulthood. My own daughter. The Queen's voice broke, and Lisa saw tears in her glowing eyes. My daughter. Princess Nisa is dying from this condition. She is only 50 years old, which is like being a teenager for your species. She has lost all hope and interest in life. Nothing we do can bring back her will to live. Lisa waited for the Queen to continue. That is why I need you, Captain Stone. Queen Vylara said, I need a human to save my daughter. Lisa stood in silence for several minutes, staring at the sleeping princess. The request that Queen Vylara had made seemed impossible. How could she teach an alien to feel human emotions? How could she show someone who had everything the value of having nothing? Your Majesty, Lisa said finally, I need to understand something. If I agree to help your daughter, what happens to the war? What happens to my people? Queen Vylara walked to a small table near the window and picked up what looked like a crystal tablet. The war ends immediately. Captain Stone, I will send orders to all Zephyrian commanders to cease all attacks on human territories. We will withdraw our forces and begin peace negotiations. Lisa felt her heart skip a beat. Just like that you would end a 3-year war? Yes, the Queen replied without hesitation. I started this war for the wrong reasons. It has brought nothing but death and suffering to both our peoples. I should have ended it long ago, but I was desperate to find a solution for my daughter. She touched the crystal tablet and it began to glow. I can send the ceasefire order right now if you agree to help Nisa. But I must warn you, Captain Stone, this will not be easy. Lisa moved closer. What do you mean? Queen Vylara set the tablet aside. My daughter is not just sick, she is angry. She blames me for starting the war. She has seen the reports of human deaths, and it has made her condition worse. She believes that nothing good can come from violence and destruction. The princess stirred slightly in her sleep, making a small sound that might have been distress. Queen Vylara immediately went to her side and gently touched her forehead. She has nightmares about the war. She sees the faces of humans who have died because of my orders. Lisa felt a strange sympathy for the alien princess. She feels guilty. Guilt is not the right word, the Queen explained. My people do not experience guilt the way humans do, but she feels responsible. She believes that her existence has caused suffering, and therefore she does not deserve to exist. Lisa looked at the pale figure on the crystal bed. That's why she's fading. She thinks the universe would be better without her. Exactly. Queen Vylara nodded, and in a way she is right. The war I started to save her has caused terrible pain. But you humans understand something that my people do not. You know that good can come from bad situations. You know that hope can grow in the darkest places. Lisa thought about her own life. All the loss and pain she had experienced had made her stronger, not weaker. Every tragedy had taught her to value the good things more. You want me to show her that suffering can have meaning. I want you to show her that life itself has meaning regardless of circumstances, the Queen corrected. I want you to teach her what I have observed in humans, the ability to find joy even in the midst of sorrow. Lisa walked to the other side of the princess's bed. What would I actually do? How would this work? Queen Valara smiled for the first time since Lisa had met her. You would live here on this ship as Nissa's companion. You would spend time with her every day, talking to her, sharing stories about human life, showing her what it means to be alive. She gestured around the beautiful room. You would have complete freedom to go anywhere on the ship. You would have access to our libraries, our art galleries, our entertainment centers. You would be treated as an honored guest, not as a prisoner. Lisa considered this carefully. And my crew. What happens to them? They will be released immediately and returned to human space, unharmed, the Queen promised, along with all other human prisoners we have taken. During the war, I will also provide them with one of our ships as compensation for their suffering. This seemed too good to be true. Lisa had expected to die in that prison cell. Now she was being offered luxury and freedom in exchange for helping save a life. What if it doesn't work? What if I can't help her? Queen Valara's expression became sad again. Then my daughter will continue to fade until she disappears completely, and I will have lost the most precious thing in my life. She moved, to stand directly in front of Lisa. But I believe you can help her, Captain Stone. I have studied humans long enough to know that you have something my people lack. You have the ability to inspire hope in others. You have done it with your own crew. Many times Lisa frowned. What do you mean? I have access to all the reports about your military service, the Queen explained. Your soldiers follow you not because they have to, but because they believe in you. When your ship was damaged in the Battle of Kepler Station, you kept your crew working for 6 hours while under attack. You never let them give up hope. Lisa remembered that battle. It had been one of the worst defeats in human military history. Her ship had been badly damaged and half her crew was injured, but somehow they had managed to escape. We survived because we worked together. Exactly, Queen Valara said. You showed them that even in the worst circumstances, there was still a chance. That is what Nissa needs to learn. She needs to see that hope is not about having perfect conditions. Hope is about believing that things can get better. Lisa looked again at the sleeping princess. She was so young and so lost. Lisa thought about her own sister back on Earth who was about the same age. What would she want someone to do if her sister was in this condition? If I agreed to this, Lisa said slowly, I want to send a message to my people first. They need to know what happened to me and why the war is ending. Of course, the Queen agreed immediately. You can send any message you want. We will make sure it reaches Earth safely. Lisa took a deep breath. And I want to be able to talk to my family. Sometimes I need to be able to call them and know they are safe. That can be arranged as well. Queen Valara nodded. We have communication technology that can reach any human world instantly. Lisa walked over to the window and looked out at the stars. She thought about all the human lives that could be saved if the war ended. She thought about the families that would not have to lose their loved ones. She thought about the young alien princess who was dying from lack of hope. All right, she said finally. I'll do it, but I have one more condition. The Queen looked at her carefully. What is it? Lisa turned away from the window. If this works, if I can help your daughter, I want you to promise me something. I want you to help humans and Zephyrians become friends, not just end the war, but actually work together, Queen. Valara smiled again, and this time it reached all 4 of her eyes. Captain Stone, that is exactly what I was hoping you would say. Lisa stared at Queen Valara in complete shock. The words she had just heard made no sense at all. How could a human save an alien princess from a disease that affected the spirit itself? I still don't understand, Your Majesty, Lisa said carefully. How exactly could I help your daughter? Queen Valara gestured toward the door. Come with me, Captain Stone, I will show you what I mean. But first you must promise me that you will listen with an open mind. Lisa nodded, even though every instinct told her this was dangerous. She followed the Queen out of the cell and down a long corridor. The 6 guards walked behind them, but they did not seem threatening. Instead, they seemed respectful, almost protective. The corridor was unlike anything Lisa had ever seen. The walls were made of some kind of crystal that glowed with soft blue light. Patterns of light moved across the surface like living things. The floor felt warm under her feet, even though she was wearing thick boots. "This is my personal ship," Queen Vylara explained as they walked. "It has been my home for over 200 years. I have traveled to every planet in our empire, and many beyond." They passed through several large rooms filled with strange machines and alien art. Lisa saw other Zephyrians working at various tasks. They all stopped what they were doing to bow when the Queen walked by. But Lisa noticed that they also looked at her with curiosity rather than hatred. "Your people hate us," Lisa said suddenly. "We have been killing each other for 3 years. How can you expect me to help you?" The Queen stopped walking and turned to face her. "That is exactly why you can help Captain Stone. You see, my people do not really hate humans. We are incapable of true hatred. It is an emotion that was bred out of us long ago." Lisa frowned. "Then why are you fighting us?" "Because I ordered them to." Queen Vylara replied, "I thought that by fighting your species, my people would learn to feel passion again. I hoped that conflict would awaken the emotions we have lost." They began walking again through another crystal corridor. "But I was wrong. Fighting has not made my people feel alive. It has only made them more distant, more cold. They follow orders, but they do not feel anything about what they are doing." Lisa thought about all the battles she had fought. The Zephyrian soldiers had always seemed strangely calm, even when they were losing. They never showed fear or anger or even satisfaction when they won. They just did their jobs like machines. "That is the problem," the Queen continued as if reading her thoughts. "My people have become too logical, too controlled. We have forgotten how to feel deeply about anything we cannot love truly because we do not fear loss. We cannot hope because we do not understand despair." They reached a large door that was decorated with symbols Lisa did not recognize. Queen Vylara placed her hand on a crystal panel, and the door opened silently. Inside was the most beautiful room Lisa had ever seen. The walls were transparent and showed the stars outside moving slowly as the ship traveled through space. Soft music played from somewhere she could not see. The air smelled like flowers from her childhood on New Texas. In the center of the room was a bed made of the same crystal material as the walls. On the bed lay a young Zephyrian female. She looked like a smaller version of Queen Vylara, but her silver skin was pale and dull. Her 4 eyes were closed and she breathed very slowly. "This is my daughter, Princess Nisa," Queen Vylara whispered. "She has been like this for 6 months. She eats very little and speaks even less. She spends most of her time sleeping, and when she is awake, she stares at nothing." Lisa moved closer to the bed. The princess looked so young and fragile. "What exactly is wrong with her? The doctors call it the fading." The Queen explained. "It happens when one of my people loses all interest in existing. They do not die quickly like humans do. Instead, they slowly fade away over many years. Their skin loses its glow, their minds become empty, and eventually they simply disappear." Lisa reached out toward the princess but stopped herself. "May I?" Queen Vylara nodded. "She will not mind. She barely notices anything anymore." Lisa gently touched the princess's hand. It was cold like touching metal. Her skin felt smooth, but there was no warmth or life in it. "She's so young." "By human standards, yes," the Queen agreed. "But she has already seen more than most humans see in their entire lives. She has traveled to 100 worlds. She has access to all the knowledge in our empire. She can have anything she wants." The Queen sat down in a chair beside the bed. "But none of it means anything to her. She looks at the most beautiful sunset and feels nothing. She hears the most wonderful music and it does not move her. She has everything, but she has no reason to want any of it." Lisa looked at the sleeping princess, then back at the Queen. "You said earlier that only a human could save her. What did you mean? Queen Valara stood up and walked to the transparent wall. She stared out at the stars for a long moment before speaking. I have spent years studying your species, Captain. Stone humans are remarkable in ways that even you do not understand. She turned back to Lisa. Your people face terrible hardships. You live short lives filled with pain and loss. You struggle every day just to survive, and yet somehow you find reasons to be happy. You create art and music and poetry. You fall in love. You have children. You dream of better futures. Lisa listened carefully, trying to understand where this was going. Most amazing of all, the Queen continued, humans never give up hope, even when everything seems lost. Even when death is certain, your people find ways to keep fighting. You protect the weak, even when you are weak yourselves. You sacrifice your own lives to save others. The Queen moved back to her daughter's bedside. This is what Nisa needs to see. She needs to understand that life is worth living not because it is perfect, but because it is imperfect. She needs to learn that struggle gives meaning to existence, that love is precious because it can be lost. Lisa felt a strange mixture of fear and honor. You want me to teach her to be human? In a way, yes. Queen Valara replied. I want you to show her what it means to hope. When there is no reason to hope, I want you to teach her that happiness comes not from having everything, but from fighting for what matters. Lisa looked down at the pale princess. And you think this will cure her? I believe it is the only thing that can. The Queen said, my people have tried everything else we have given her. The best doctors, the most advanced treatments. Nothing works because the problem is not in her body, it is in her spirit. Queen Valara immediately picked up the crystal tablet and began touching symbols on its glowing surface. I am sending the ceasefire order now, Captain Stone. Within hours, every Zephyrian ship in the galaxy will receive the command to stop fighting. Lisa watched as the tablet pulsed with different colors. How do I know you will keep your word? You will see the proof very soon. The Queen replied, I am also sending a message to your Earth Defense Force explaining the situation. They will know that you are safe and that you chose to stay here to help end the war permanently. The princess on the bed stirred again and opened her 4 eyes slowly. She looked around the room with a confused expression until her gaze fell on Lisa. She sat up quickly, moving faster than Lisa expected. Mother, Princess Nisa said in a voice that was musical like her mother's but much sadder. Who is this human? Why is she here? Queen Valara moved to her daughter's side immediately. This is Captain Lisa Stone of the Earth Defense Force. She has agreed to spend time with you. Princess Nisa stared at Lisa with a mixture of curiosity and suspicion. Is she my prisoner? No, my dear, the Queen said gently. She is our guest. She is here because she wants to help. You feel better? The princess looked confused. Help me? How can a human help me, and why would she want to? Lisa stepped forward carefully. Hello, Princess Nisa. My name is Lisa. I'm here because your mother thinks I might be able to show you some things about how humans live. Princess Nisa studied Lisa's face closely. You are one of the people my mother has been fighting. Lisa nodded. Yes, I am, but I don't want to fight anymore. I want to try to understand your people better. The princess was quiet for a long moment. My mother started this war because of me, didn't she? She thought it would help me somehow. Queen Valara looked uncomfortable. Nisa, we have talked about this before. You never really answered my question, though. The princess said, looking directly at her mother. You started fighting humans because you thought it would make me better, but it only made me worse. Lisa was surprised by how direct the princess was. She had expected someone who was fading away to be more withdrawn. Princess, if I may ask, why did the war make you feel worse? Princess Nisa turned back to Lisa. Because I could see what it was doing to everyone. I watched the reports of battles. I saw human families crying over their dead. I saw my own people becoming more cold and distant with every fight. She stood up from the bed and walked to the window. I realized that my mother was destroying 2 entire civilizations, just to try to save one person, and that person was me. How could I feel good about living when so many others were dying because of me? Lisa understood now why the princess was fading. The weight of all that guilt and responsibility would be crushing for anyone, especially someone so young. Princess, that wasn't your fault. Your mother made her own choices, but she made them for me. Nisa replied, if I had never gotten sick, if I had been stronger, none of this would have happened. Queen Valara moved to stand beside her daughter. Nisa, you cannot blame yourself for my mistakes. I chose to start the war. I chose to continue fighting. I am responsible for what happened. Princess Nisa looked at both of them. But don't you see? That's exactly the problem. I am not worth all this death and destruction. I am just one person. Why should thousands of others die so that I can live? Lisa felt her heart break a little. This young alien was carrying a burden that no one should have to bear. Princess, can I tell you a story? Nisa looked at her with mild interest. What kind of story? A story about someone I knew who felt exactly the way you feel right now. Lisa said, may I sit down? Princess Nisa nodded, and Lisa sat in the chair beside the bed. The princess sat back down as well, looking at Lisa, with more attention than she had shown anything in months. When I was about your age, Lisa began. I had a friend named Amy. She lived in my town, on New Texas. She was smart and funny, and everyone loved her. But one day there was an accident at the power plant where her father worked. Lisa paused, remembering the day clearly. The plant had a malfunction, and there was going to be an explosion that would destroy half the town. Amy's father and 3 other workers stayed behind to fix the problem. They knew they probably wouldn't survive, but they did it anyway to save everyone else. Princess Nisa was listening intently now. What happened? They fixed the problem and saved the town, but all 4 of them died in the explosion. Lisa continued. Amy was devastated. She blamed herself for her father's death. She said that if she had never been born, he wouldn't have had to work so hard to support a family. He would have been somewhere safe instead of at that dangerous job. Queen Valara was also listening carefully. What did you tell her? At first I didn't know what to say, Lisa admitted. Amy stopped eating, stopped talking to her friends, stopped caring about anything. She was fading away just like you are, Princess Nisa. Leaned forward. But something changed, didn't it? Lisa nodded. One day Amy's mother sat her down and told her something very important. She said that Amy's father didn't die because Amy existed. He died because he chose to save other people. That was who he was. That was what made his life meaningful. She looked directly at Princess Nisa. Amy's mother explained that we don't honor the people who sacrifice for us by wasting the lives they saved. We honor them by living fully and helping others in return. Princess Nisa was quiet for a moment. What happened to Amy? She decided to become a doctor. Lisa said she spent the rest of her life saving other people. She said it was her way of making her father's sacrifice worthwhile. She turned her pain into purpose. Queen Valara was staring at Lisa with amazement. And this helped your friend recover? It took time, Lisa said. But yes, eventually, Amy found reasons to live again. She realized that the best way to honor her father was not to fade away, but to make sure his sacrifice meant something. Princess Nisa stood up and walked to the window again. But what purpose could my life serve? Everyone who died in this war died because of me. How can I make that worthwhile? Lisa stood up as well. Maybe by making sure it never happens again. Maybe by helping humans and Zephyrians become friends. Maybe by using what you've learned from this pain to help others who are suffering. She moved to stand beside the princess. Your mother told me that many of your people suffer from the same condition you have. What if you could find a way to help them? Princess Nisa looked at Lisa with surprise. You think I could do that? I think you understand their pain better than anyone else, Lisa replied. And I think that understanding could be the key to helping them. For the first time since Lisa had met her, Princess Nisa's silver skin began to show just a tiny bit of its natural glow. Over the next few days, Lisa watched as Princess Nisa slowly began to change. The tiny glow in her silver skin grew slightly brighter, and she started asking questions about human life and culture. Lisa spent hours telling her stories about Earth, about families and friendships and the small joys that made life worth living. "Tell me about music," Princess Nisa said one morning as they sat in the ship's garden. The Zephyrians had created an amazing space filled with plants from dozens of different worlds. The air smelled like spring and birds from various planets sang in the trees. Lisa smiled. "What would you like to know?" "Why do humans create music when you are sad?" the princess asked. "I have been reading about your history, and I noticed that some of your most beautiful songs were written during wars and disasters. Why don't you wait until you are happy to make music?" Lisa thought about this for a moment. "I think it's because music helps us process our feelings. When we're sad or scared, music gives us a way to express those emotions and share them with others. It makes us feel less alone." Princess Nisa picked up a flower that had fallen from one of the trees. "My people create music too, but only when everything is perfect. Our songs are technically flawless, but they don't make anyone feel anything. Maybe that's the difference," Lisa suggested. "Human music isn't about being perfect, it's about being honest. Even when the truth is painful or messy." They were interrupted by Queen Vylara, who approached them with obvious excitement. "I have wonderful news," she announced. "The Earth Defense Force has accepted our offer of peace talks. They are sending a delegation to meet with us next week." Lisa felt a surge of hope. Really, they agreed? More than that, the Queen continued. "They specifically requested that you be present at the negotiations. They said your report about the situation here convinced them that a real peace was possible." Princess Nisa looked confused. What report? Lisa had been sending regular messages back to Earth explaining what she had learned about the Zephyrians and why the war had really started. "I told them about your people's condition and about you," I explained. "That the war wasn't about conquest, it was about a mother trying to save her daughter." The princess was quiet for a moment. "And they understood. They understood that parents will do anything to protect their children." Lisa replied, "Even make terrible mistakes. Humans know about that kind of love." Queen Vylara sat down beside them. "There is something else, Captain Stone. The Earth government wants to propose a joint project between our peoples. They want to work together to find solutions for both human and Zephyrian problems." Lisa raised her eyebrows. "What kind of project?" "They are calling it the Hope Initiative," the Queen explained. "Human researchers would work with our scientists to study the fading and find ways to help my people reconnect with their emotions. At the same time, our technology could help humans solve problems like disease and hunger." Princess Nisa's eyes widened. "Humans want to help cure the fading. Apparently your friend Amy became a very famous doctor," Queen Vylara said, looking at Lisa. "When the Earth government learned about her story, they realized that humans have already found ways to help people recover from conditions similar to the fading." Lisa was amazed. Amy's work could actually help your people. But there's more. The Queen continued. "The human delegation wants Princess Nisa to be part of the project. They think her experience with the fading could help them understand how to treat it." Princess Nisa stood up suddenly, her silver skin now glowing noticeably brighter. "They want me to help. They want you to help save lives," Lisa confirmed. "Both human and Zephyrian lives. Think about it, Princess. You could turn your pain into something that helps thousands of others." For the first time since Lisa had met her, Princess Nisa smiled. It was a small smile, but it was genuine. "Like your friend Amy did. Exactly like Amy." Lisa agreed. Queen Vylara was watching her daughter with tears in her 4 eyes. "Nisa, do you think you might be interested in this project?" Princess Nisa walked to the edge of the garden where she could see out into space. "I have been thinking about what Lisa said about making my father's sacrifice worthwhile. But I realize now that this isn't just about the people who died in the war." She turned back to face them. "There are Zephyrians dying from the fading right now on every world in our empire. and there are humans suffering from similar conditions on Earth. If I can help find a cure, I can save lives instead of being the reason lives were lost. Lisa felt tears in her own eyes. That sounds like a pretty good purpose to me. Princess Nissa's glow was now bright enough to light up the plants around her. Lisa, will you help me prepare? For the peace talks, I want to learn everything I can about human psychology and medicine. Of course, Lisa replied, but I think you should also teach the humans about Zephyrian culture. They need to understand your people just as much as you need to understand them. Over the following weeks, Princess Nissa threw herself into learning with an energy that amazed everyone. She studied human medical texts and psychological research. She also began working with Zephyrian doctors to document everything they knew about the fading. When the human delegation arrived, Princess Nissa was ready. She stood beside her mother and Lisa as the two groups met for the first time in peace. The humans were nervous but hopeful. The Zephyrians were curious but cautious. Want to thank all of you for coming, Princess Nissa said, addressing both groups. 3 months ago, I wanted to fade away because I thought my existence caused only pain and suffering. But I have learned from my human friend that life's meaning comes not from avoiding pain but from using our experiences to help others. She gestured toward Lisa. Captain Stone taught me that hope is not about having perfect conditions. Hope is about believing that we can make things better. And I believe that together our peoples can make the universe better for everyone. The lead human negotiator, a woman named Dr. Patricia Williams, stepped forward. Princess Nissa, we are honored to meet you. Your mother tells us that you have personal experience. With the condition we hope to study, I do, the princess replied. And I want to help find a cure not just for my people but for any being who has lost the will to live. I want to turn my illness into something that can heal others. Dr. Williams smiled. That is exactly the kind of partnership we were hoping for. As the peace talks began, Lisa watched with pride as Princess Nissa took her place as a leader and healer. The young alien who had once wanted to fade away was now glowing brightly with purpose and hope. Queen Vylara moved to stand beside Lisa. Thank you, Captain Stone, you saved my daughter's life. Lisa shook her head. She saved herself. I just showed her that there were reasons to want to live. Your daughter is remarkable, Your Majesty. She's going to help save a lot of lives. Both our peoples will be forever grateful, the Queen replied. Lisa looked out at the stars visible through the garden windows. I think this is just the beginning, Your Majesty. I think humans and Zephyrians are going to accomplish amazing things together. Princess Nissa approached them, her face bright with excitement. Lisa, the human doctors want me to visit Earth to study their treatment centers, and they want you to come with me to help explain Zephyrian physiology to them. Lisa grinned. I would love to, Princess. It sounds like we're going to be very busy. The best kind of busy. Princess Nissa agreed. The kind where we get to help people. As the peace talks continued, Lisa realized that Queen Vylara had been right about humans. They never gave up hope even in the darkest circumstances, and sometimes that hope could spread to others, lighting up the darkness for entire civilizations. The war was over, but something much better was just beginning.